In this video, we'll cover other types of equations, specifically rational equations and radical equations. So we have already taken a look at a few rational equations. And the two steps that we used really were to clear the fractions by multiplying by the least common denominator, and also the fact that we have to check our answers in case we have division by zero. These are called extraneous roots. So we always want to make sure that we don't have any extraneous roots. So let's take a look at this first example. How do you find a least common denominator? Well, in this case, our least common denominator is x minus 9. I'm going to put this minus 5 over 1 because in my opinion, as long as I have fractions, I want everything to be represented as a fraction. So I am going to now multiply by my least common denominator, which in this case is x minus 9. And just for ease, I'm actually going to write it next to each piece rather than trying to write it as a distribution. Now when I do that, nice things happen. Here I get negative 5 times x minus 9. But here the x minus 9's cancel and I get x. And on the right hand side the x minus 9's cancel and I get 9. So I get negative 5x plus 45 plus x equals 9. And collecting like terms, I get negative 4x. And then I get 9 minus 45, or 36, actually negative 36. And so in this case, x is equal to 9. Oh, our extraneous root here would be 9, because 9 is the value that makes that denominator equal to 0. So because our answer was extraneous, we actually say that this has no solution. So make sure that you're checking for that extraneous root. So let's do that again. This time I'm going to put the x over 1, and I'm hoping that you can see that our least common denominator is x plus 5. That's the denominator that we would need them all to look like if we were going to add them together. And again, I am going to write x plus 5, next to each one of these. Okay, and by the way, with our least common denominator is x plus 5, we can tell that our extraneous solutions would be x equaling negative 5. So we know if I get negative 5 as a solution, I have to toss it out. So we'll just see what happens here. All right, so if I distribute or cancel out here, I get x plus 5 times x for this first multiplication. For the second one, the x plus 5's cancel, and I get 3x plus 5. And for the second one, the x plus 5's cancel, and I get 2x. So distributing, we get x squared plus 5x plus 3x plus 5 equals 2x. So we have x squared. 5x and 3x is 8x. And if I subtract 2x, I get 6x plus 5 equals 0. So you solved quadratic equations in college algebra, and this one will factor as x plus 5 and x plus 1, and we get two answers, x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 1. However, we know that x equaling negative 5 is extraneous, so our only solution is x equals negative 1. Another kind of equation that you will run into quite often in calculus are radical equations. These are equations with either a square root or a cube root, something along those lines. Very often they are square roots. So I have two examples here. The steps we're going to solve is to first isolate the radical. The second one is going to be to raise it to a power. So if it's a cube root, we're going to cube it. If it's a fourth root, we're going to raise it to the fourth. And if it's a square root, we're just going to square both sides. But I use raise because we could have any one of those. Then we're going to solve, and then we have to check for extraneous solutions again. So I like to use the mnemonic IRS check. So anytime you see a radical equation, you're going to call the IRS and tell them the check is in the mail. So let's take a look at this first example. In this particular case, we've already isolated the radical. This is already by itself. So it's a square root. I am going to raise it to the second power. I'm going to square both sides. Now we know that when we square a square root, the radical goes away. And we have to be careful on this side because when we square something, it means we're multiplying it by itself. So don't forget here you have to FOIL. So we're going to get x plus 13 equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then I'm going to subtract x and 13 from each side. And I will get x squared plus x minus 12 equals 0. So in this particular case, this does factor. Two things that multiply to negative 12 and add to 1 would be positive 4 and negative 3. So we have x plus 4 and x minus 3. And using the zero product property, we get negative 4 and positive 3. Now don't forget, you're not done at this point. We have to check and make sure that these work. So I am going to write down what I'm doing here. I'm checking this, and I'm going to check x equals negative 4 and get the square root of negative 4 plus 13 equals negative 4 plus 1. So this is the square root of 9 equals negative 3, and so we get 3 equals negative 3. That does not work. So we're going to toss this first one. Now, that doesn't mean that the second one is also extraneous. It may or may not be. So we're now going to check x equals 3. We'll get the square root of 3 plus 13, or 16, equals 3 plus 1, or 4 equals 4, and that does check. So our solution here is just x equals 3. Isolate, raise, solve, and checking it, as is the case with our extraneous solutions in our radical or rational equations, we have to check and make sure that these are not extraneous. So let's do that again. This example is a little bit more complicated because I have two radicals. So with the two radicals, I still have to isolate one of the radicals. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and isolate this first one and subtract 2. So I have the square root of x equals the square root of x plus 10 subtract 2. So if we're talking about isolate, raise, solve, and check, I have now isolated one of the radicals. Now I'm going to raise both sides to a power. So when I do that, I'm going to square this side, and I'm going to square this side. Don't forget to FOIL here. So now we're going to have just x on the left. And let me go ahead and write this out. Square root of x plus 10 minus 2 times the square root of x minus 10 minus 2, and then go through the process of squaring. So when you multiply a radical by itself, you just get the radicand. Sorry, this should be plus. So we get x plus 10. Then we get minus 2 times root x plus 10 for the outsides. For the insides, you get minus 2 root x plus 10 also, and then you get plus 4. So what we end up with here is x. I'm going to say minus 4 root x plus 10. That's adding these two together. And then 10 and 4 give us 14. So I am now going to subtract x from each side. And that's going to give me 0 equals negative 4 root x plus 10 plus 14. So you might notice that we now have an equation and it still has a radical in it. So we were in the solving stage right here, but we still have a radical. So we have to isolate, raise, and solve again. So let's do that here. We're going to subtract 14, negative 4 root x plus 10, and then we'll divide through by negative 4, and we'll get 7/2 equals root x plus 10. And then I've isolated the radical again. Now I'm going to raise both sides to a power, so I'm going to square both sides. 49/4 equals x plus 10. I will subtract 10, which is 40/4, and I will get 9/4 equals x. Again, so I've raised and I've solved, but I still need to check. So I'm going to do the square root of 9/4. I'm going back to my original. The square root of 9/4 is 3/2 plus 2, which I'm going to write as 4/2, equals 9/4 plus 10, which I'm going to write as 40/4. Of course, this is in the square root. So we have 7/2 is the square root of 49/4, which is true. So this is a good solution. As this video is already 14 minutes long, I'm going to make a new video for equations that are quadratic in form. Oops.